Hello, everyone. How we doing? Here we are again for our pastor's chat for March 26. I hope you enjoy this pastor's chat.
And here, Tim and I are practicing proper social distancing in this day of coronavirus, and so we are long ways away from each other.
Yeah, about that, Dave.
What do you think?
I think we should come into the screen here. I think we're a little far.
closer?
A little far.
Are you sure?
I don't even think we're in the camera. Oh, wait.
No.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Well, I guess we can come in this close.
Hope that was a little entertaining for you guys.
Entertaining for us to do it.
Yeah, so we are approaching our this coming Sunday, and we thought we would open up our conversation just hearing about the passage.
So this Sunday, we continue our series in the Gospel of Mark. We're in chapter 12, which if I were preaching at the rate that I would normally preach, I would probably do 4 to 6 sermons in chapter 12. Instead, we're taking a big chunk and looking at kind of an overview of what's going on.
Well, you could preach that long. You just need to realize, I mean, we're live, so when they want to tune out, they can tune out.
It's a lot easier to leave at that point than it is during church when the sermon gets long.
Oh, goodness. Well, so what are you going to focus on? What's the teaching going to be about?
Oh, it's still early in the week, and I'm still studying and still narrowing it down. But one of the things that really strikes me about this passage is that it does talk about the great commandment. Jesus being asked, what is the greatest of all the 613 commands in the Old Testament? And he responded in a way that basically combined the first half of the 10 Commandments with the second half of the 10 Commandments. And he said, love God with your heart and soul and mind and strength, which comes from Deuteronomy chapter 6. And he said, love your neighbor as yourself, which comes from Leviticus 19. And as I'm just meditating on that, thinking about those commands this week, it really strikes me that even though we are not able to meet physically, we are trying to do just that. We're trying to worship God, love God, as we have our live stream service together, and we're trying to love our neighbor by practicing the recommended social distancing in order to stop the virus from advancing.
Yeah, and I think even with loving others as well, we've really been trying to. Right now, we're trying to figure out who our nurses are and the other people that have really been caring for society right now. So as a church, if we could reach out and offer love to them, and even we talk about this last pastor's chat, but we're trying to find ways even in this to make sure that we're able to love each other inside our body. As many of us are feeling very alone and distance, we're trying to do as much as we can to create and to continue to follow that commandment, which is, like I said, worship God, love the Lord your God. And then secondly, for us to love others.
Right. So keep calling your friends, keep calling your neighbors, keep checking in on your Connect groups, keep finding ways to reach out to the people in our church who maybe are not online and can't join the service, and just let them hear from you that you're still thinking of them, still praying for them. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to another wonderful sermon this week, and we would encourage you all, and we're going to talk about this, about the live streaming, to be sure to share it to your friends, and it's very easy for people to attend right now and jump online.
So I actually have been kind of scanning through the live stream of last week's service, and it looked a lot different than the week before. What happened?
Well, like we talked about, we were able to make some major improvements. We learned a little bit technical stuff about changing some of our settings and the program that we're using, and it made a big difference. And we also, like we said, we upgraded our network here at church, so we have better internet and better capabilities that Sunday morning. And we need to thank Chris Lurch this week, because we had additional help with sound, just thinking through how we can make it sound even better as well. So, and I wanted to mention that we have some improvements this week as well.
Yeah?
We are going to make the feed, what you were seeing on YouTube, if you had jumped on Facebook, you would have noticed that they were different, that Facebook was running from a phone and that YouTube was running from video cameras, and the sound was coming through our board.
And the picture was different. It was in a different place.
Yes.
Yeah.
This week, we found out there's, again, some software out there where we'll be able to take the same stream, the live stream that you're seeing on YouTube, and put it up on Facebook. So it'll be the same experience on Facebook and YouTube.
Great. Sounds good.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that.
We saw quite a few people tuning into both platforms, didn't we?
Yeah, man, praise the Lord. It was really cool to see that by the end of Sunday, there were over 1,000 people that had viewed YouTube, which means that they had clicked on it, whether they watched it for a second or they watched the whole thing. Over 1,000 people watch it. Then Facebook, by the end of Sunday, was around 300, and now we're looking at it recently, and what did you say the number was?
Almost 1,600 on YouTube and over 400 on Facebook.
Yeah, it's just amazing to think that the engagement, the people that we're reaching, and obviously, we can't wait until we can gather back together. But what we're learning through this is that live streaming and having the service available like this is reaching an audience, is spreading the word of Christ beyond what we were doing before, and that's an amazing blessing. It doesn't, but we're obviously we can't wait till we get back together. But we're learning some things through this.
Yo, absolutely. It seems like God is using this for His glory. I mean, we don't really know how many people clicked on. I mean, in my house, there were 5 people watching on one feed. On the other hand, somebody could have had internet disruption and come back and clicked on it again and again, and so it's hard to count. But it's easy to see that it's a lot more than the week before, and that was already a good week where I think we had 800 views or something like that.
Yeah,
I credit a lot of that to you all who have shared on Facebook and Instagram the invitations for people and said, hey, church is meeting online. Please join us. We're going to be live. So thank you, and please keep on doing that.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. I saw a couple today that were showing up from Sunday of people just saying, church online this Sunday, come join me. So I want to encourage, I loved the comments, the quotes from the sermons, the encouragement. There was so much love and so much, social fellowship going on.
Yeah,
social media
somebody
fellowship.
Commented that they felt like they were whispering to their kids in the pew because they were talking. They were typing online while this was going on.
Right.
So.
I did want to mention as well, if you can, this is just a quick plug for our YouTube channel. If you are on the channel, it would be helpful if you guys could subscribe to the page. That helps us get a special link for our church where we can call it YouTube/Calvary Coopersburg. So that's just a quick plug, but wanted to throw it in there.
Yeah, and we only need a few more people to do that in order
it's not much.
to make that happen. Great. So as far as how long is this going to last?
Yes, our little update here. So, Dave.
I mean, we just found out this week that our governor has extended schools being closed for another week beyond what we had already had church closed, and so we've decided, of course, to follow those same recommendations and remain closed. We'll keep monitoring the situation. It's too early with everything changing day by day and week by week to know what that means. But for now, it means we try and do our best to worship the Lord together and to love our neighbors and to be part of our community together and to do it like we're doing it now. From a distance. One couple of things that we're looking into, because quite frankly, the amount of time that school is closed for puts us right before Easter. So we don't know if we're going to have church in person on Easter or not.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to make plans for that. One of the things we were talking, why don't you tell us one of the things we've been talking about in order to kind of account for that?
Well, there's different ideas, and the elders have been discussing this. We got to talk about this at our elders meeting this past Monday, but there was an idea out there that if we could do a drive-in service was one of the thoughts. Another thought was we saw that maybe we still want to have the idea of a sunrise service, so a 7:30 a.m. service that might be our traditional hymns, and a special service that's maybe filmed outside or something along those lines, and then our special resurrection, our Easter service that would be probably at our normal 10 a.m. streaming, where we would try to, again, just make it a special a morning to celebrate and remember the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. So, yeah.
Right. Another idea that that Tim actually had at the elders meeting, and I thought was terrific, was that if we can't meet in person on Easter, let's try and do a second Easter some other time in the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that, what is it? The hobbits have second breakfast. I mean, let's do a second Easter.
Right.
And I mean, the reason we meet on Sunday as the Christian church is because that's the day that Jesus rose from the dead.
It's supposed to be the remembrance of the resurrection of the Lord from the grave.
Right.
Yeah.
So why not maybe in the fall when everything's back to normal and we can put out the announcements that we were going to put out, give you the invitation cards to hand out to people to say, come join us for our Easter service. Encourage everybody to dress up in their Easter best. Go ahead and do a sunrise service and a breakfast like we would normally have done. Let's get the flowers. I don't know if you can get Easter lilies in the fall or not, but some sort of flowers.
They can be Easter mums.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it was important that you had mentioned too that day is still going to be at home. You're going to celebrate Easter, and that's wonderful. And even we might mention it, but there is something we've been saying that being together on that morning in person, celebrating that is important. So whether it is Sunday the 12th or whether it has to be October, we're trying to figure out a way. And obviously, as you're hearing, we're still in conversation about this. It's all
in process. And even that idea about the drive-in with the cars, we may or may not be able to pull that off. But here's the reason why I don't think we'll be able to do it, is because we can't trust you all to stay away from each other. You guys love each other so much, you're going to want to get out of the cars, you're going to want to hug, you're going to want to say hello. And that might be a car logistical nightmare in our parking lot. That's true.
So yeah, but we love sharing the different ideas and the things that we're thinking about as pastors and with the elder board. So be in prayer as we figure this out. Be in prayer for the church. Be in prayer for the decisions that have been that need to be made. So
one of the other ideas that we are bouncing around right now and trying to find a way to accomplish, and we've already begun to compile a list of healthcare workers and service workers that we can be praying for. And we want to put those lists out to anybody that asks for them, and anybody maybe to our Connect groups to say be praying in particular for these healthcare workers. In fact, just before we started recording, somebody called into the church and added somebody else to that list, which is great. But we're also thinking, is there a way we can be a blessing to them? And we're still working on what that might look like.
Yeah, and that's where we're at right now. And but the first process is we're trying to get those names just for the first step for us to be in special prayer for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So moving on in our conversation. So obviously life has changed for
indeed
everybody, including ourselves. So we thought it'd be fun to talk a little bit about how our lives changed. So let's start with our work.
Yeah, for me, I'm allowed to come into the study. Nobody else is here most of the time. Randy's continuing to clean the church, but we stay at a proper distance. We talk from proper distance, and so I'm able to really focus a little bit more on my work. And of course, without as many people in the building, I'm getting more phone calls than in the past. But what's really changed for me is my evenings. I'm at home a lot more evenings.
Yes.
Even if it's a video conference, I'm still at home, which has been unusual for me, which is great.
I was going to say, it's got to be a blessing to be able to be at home and have some... It's been kind of, you want to say, we've been asked to be in this situation, but a lot of us might be learning that this additional family time has been very wonderful.
You're not going stir crazy yet. Your family, your kids, they're not going.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So for my work life, I've chosen to work from home. I set myself up in our little dining room, and my wife has been so wonderful just to give that time, that space that I need if I have to take a call or anything like that. But there's hiccups, but it's also nice that your kids can pop over and say hello. And I've seen that. It's been very different from Milan and I. It's been times it's wonderful, times that it can be tiring. But man, our children are just like, they're loving it. They have no idea what happened. And our kids are 5 and 3 years old. So they're just like, mom and dad are home. So they're having a blast. Just a comment. You said that Randy, who's our facilities manager, has been working. I wanted to say, I came in and the floors in the building look incredible,
Yes.
and I saw him in the parking lot. He goes, "Well, there's the question. People in the building, or no people with a clean building." And I just kind of laughed, but I thought the building looks
Right.
incredible right now.
Oh, he's been doing some deep cleaning like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Yes.
Chairs and rooms and things that haven't been touched necessarily as thoroughly in the past.
Right. So we also thought, talking about our home life, because everybody's, kids aren't doing their activities,
right,
all things like that. One thing in our household, we recently did the whipped cream challenge.
Okay.
So if
Can you
you have,
demonstrate, I wish we had some whipped cream
I know,
here.
right?
You could demonstrate
that would have
it
been
for us.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Sorry, maybe next time. But you take whipped cream and you put it on your hand, and then the goal is you have to throw it up in the air and catch it in your mouth. So you essentially just put the whipped cream, spray it on your hand, and then smack up. It goes up in the air, and you have to catch it. So it was very entertaining. We had our kids do it, and that was probably the most.
Did you get pictures?
We have video. So,
Okay, well that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody would like to see that video,
I want to see it.
Yeah. I'll show you later.
Okay.
Yes. How about you?
Well,
what have you been doing?
yeah, I mean, our house is full. We've got 8 people living in the house, and so people are everywhere all the time. And one of the things that happened was the first Sunday after we did the live streaming, and I came home from church, and as I'm walking in the door, my 3-year-old granddaughter, she comes running and she's yelling, "Grandpa, you were on TV." You should have been here. You missed it.
My children were confused why I didn't respond to them when they said, "Hi, Dad! Hi, Dad!" to the TV. I got home and my son asked me, "Dad, I said hello. You didn't say anything back."
Well, you'll have to remember to do that on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi, kids. Hi, kids.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So as we close our pastor update this week, we want to continue doing this, and we actually want to continue doing this even beyond after we start gathering together. We think it'd be great to engage our audience, to talk to you, for you guys to just kind of have a little
interaction
with us. But we also wanted to be able to open this up for you guys to give questions. So you can add them in the comments below this video, or you could also answer. Our church has sent an email out for people to give questions in. Obviously, we're going to have to handle which questions we think are appropriate to answer and things like that. It'll be at our discretion, but we want to encourage you to send those in. Do you have any other remarks about that?
No, just that you can send it to the church email as well, church@calvarybfc.org.
Yes, thank you. So once again, we just want to thank you for popping into this video. We hope you appreciate them, and we'll see you hopefully next week.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya.